I want to talk about how I deal with fear or fearful situations. Most of the stuff that you go through in your life are how you react to them are based on what you've experienced in the past. Let me tell you a story. So, the guy that my mother was with when I was born, she stayed with for 7 years. He is my brother's father, the one that came after me. He provided for the household. My mother, when my mother's in relationships, especially when I was younger, she didn't allow people to whoop me. She did the disciplining. She didn't allow men to, put their hands on me and stuff like that, because she felt like my mother comes from a very horrible childhood. She was molested by family members, by people, and she was in a super physically abusive home that she was raised in. So her style of parenting is very protective. And when I say that, a lot of the ideas of people come in, that could be the reason why you are how you are, and da. I've already discussed that I feel that anybody's being is based on nature and nurture, not nature versus nurture. I feel that I am what I am not only because I'm naturally supposed to be what I am based on genetics, chromosomes, biology, but also based off environment. I think that it's a combination of both. Anyway, so my mom she her parenting style is a very protective one. Okay? So she didn't allow men to whoop me. She didn't allow any of that. If I needed a whooping, she whooped me. But this particular man, my little brother's father, was very abusive to her. Generational curse. My grandmother was in abusive relationships. Her mother was in abusive relationships. Blah blah blah. He was really abusive. Like, I remember one of the memories that I've have is us coming from my aunt's house, and I don't know if my mom embarrassed him at my aunt's house. They were all playing cards. I remember they were playing cards, and whatever happened at the I don't know what happened, because I come from a house where kids get out of grown folks' face. So I really wasn't in there, so I don't know what happened, but it seemed like I guess she embarrassed him, or I don't know what happened. But when we got out the car at home, like, he was angry then, but he didn't really say nothing. But when we got out the car at home, he just punched her in the face. As soon as he got out the car, he came and opened up the door of the car. Like, I got out on this side, he got out, and he came and opened the car door for her. And when she got out, he just punched her, and she fell back and hit the ground, and her nose and stuff was bleeding. And I started screaming, and it just was, what was this? This had to be, I want to say like 5 or 6. I think I was like 5 or 6. Between 5 and 7. That's the age that I was. So, there was an incident that was one incident. Another incident was I was a little bit older. This was after that particular incident. Not older, but not. I was probably around. That probably happened when I was like 5, and this happened when I was like 6 or 7. Um, they were arguing in the room, and they were arguing, and I could tell that they were fighting, but the door was closed. And I remember my mother saying, "Don't do this in front of my kids." And whatever was going on, I went and opened the door, and he had like a bag around her head, like he was trying to kill her or something. Like he was trying to he was putting the bag over her head. And when I opened the door, he stopped and tried to push the door closed, and my mother screamed and said, "Go get help." So soon as the door soon as she said that, I turn around and I'm about to run up the stairs to go get help, like go get help from somebody. And he opens up the door real fast before I get out of the hallway to go. He opens the door real fast and says, like in a real deep voice, like I can't remember what he says, but he says something that's really like, "You better not move," or "Stay the fuck right there," or something he says that makes me stop in fear. Like I know, like if you heard your mother say something that was like if your mother, like if your parents or whoever's your parents and they say something and it just kind of gives you chills, like, ooh, they kind of mad right now. It was kind of that moment where it just froze me and I was stuck. I was just stuck right there, and I stopped and I just looked and I was stuck. Like whatever his voice did put fear in me to be stuck. And I was like 6. I think I was like 6 or 7. And I just stood right there. And it took me, and he slammed the door back. And it took me, like it just dazed me for like, I want to say, I don't know. You know how in certain moments, the time could go by really fast. But in the moment, it seemed like fucking forever. Like I just sat there dazed and stuck. To me, this seemed like a fucking eternity. But my mother end up coming out of the room and running out of the room and grabbing me and taking me to my aunt's house. And it just was a situation. But that situation, when I went to my aunt's house and thought about the situation, and I felt so bad for myself. Like in that moment, when I'm sitting thinking about what happened, I felt so bad. Like because I let this fear, whatever happened, it was fear. And it froze me in that moment where if this man really could have been in there killing my mother at the time, someone, even now, someone that I absolutely love so unconditionally and with all of my heart. My mother was my everything, especially at 6. So I felt so bad that this person really could have hurt my mother, and I would have been fearful, fear-stricken so much that he could have killed her in that moment. And there was nothing that I would have done about it. I stopped and didn't go get help like she asked me to, or like they screamed me to. So I felt this guilt, like it was just in that moment, just right there in that moment when I went to my aunt's. So from that moment on in my life, that fear feeling, I hate. Like it's something that when I feel that fear feeling coming on, like I fight it head on. Like it's something that it's like that when I used to be in school and bullied. When somebody tried to bully me or I felt fear for them, that was the quickest way for you to get me to fight you, for me to be scared of you, because of that situation, my fear and hate for that feeling and that guilt and that ability to control me with fear. Everything in my life I have totally anything that I feared in my life I have hit head on because of that situation. So anything that I'm scared to do, whether it be like an audition, I just do it. Like I just go head in first, and because I don't like that fear, that stricken fear to stop me from doing something. Because in that situation, me thinking about the consequences that could have happened based off of me being stricken with fear, it molded who I am and how I handle fear. And so anything that I want to accomplish that I'm scared to do, I kind of jump in head first. And that's how I handle fearful situations in my life now. Because I think anything that is strickening like that, where it be like if you have anxiety or you have anything that is like that just stops you, I think it's unhealthy. So that's how I deal with it. And I don't know why I wanted to talk about that, but I did. This is your girl Diamond. Tell me what you think.